Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Meghan Markle goes it alone without Prince Harry and is stopping at nothing. Meghan Markle has always been a force to be reckoned with, but now the Duchess of Sussex is showing the world what she can do entirely on her own. While Prince Harry focuses on projects tied to the Invictus Games and other philanthropic commitments, Meghan is blazing her own path. A solo chapter that insiders say marks a defining moment in her career. Meghan is stopping at nothing, one source close to her inner circle reveals. This is her time, and she's determined to make her mark, on her own terms. A solo power move. After years of being known as one half of the royal power couple, Meghan is stepping into her independent spotlight once again. From relaunching her lifestyle brand to quietly expanding her influence in Hollywood, she's showing that her ambitions reach far beyond palace walls. In the past few months, Meghan has been spotted at industry dinners and private networking events without Harry by her side. She's been described as confident, charming, and entirely in control of her next move. Meghan is fiercely driven, says a close friend. She's incredibly smart about branding, timing, and presentation, and she knows exactly how to build her empire. Those who've seen her up close say the Duchess is leaning into her pre-royal strengths, storytelling, production, and female empowerment, but with a global platform this time. Her upcoming Netflix projects, along with new ventures rumored to include a wellness line and digital community, are said to be part of a bigger, long-term strategy. The birth of a modern brand. Insiders say Meghan's vision goes far beyond a traditional celebrity comeback. She's creating a legacy, another source explains. She wants to be seen as a changemaker, someone who uses her platform to uplift and connect. Her latest move, reportedly involving her much-anticipated lifestyle brand, is being described as a 21st-century version of Goop, a high-end but approachable blend of mindfulness, style, and self-expression. Meghan has been hands-on in every detail, from product curation to brand philosophy. She's deeply involved, one collaborator says. Nothing gets approved without her input. Observers note that this solo chapter isn't about distancing from Harry, but about rediscovering her individual identity. For Meghan, it's not about walking away from her marriage or partnership, explains a Hollywood insider. It's about showing that she's a multifaceted woman, a mother, entrepreneur, humanitarian, and visionary. Meghan's Hollywood renaissance. Ever since Meghan and Harry stepped back from royal duties in 2020, speculation has swirled around whether the Duchess would return to acting. While she's made it clear her future lies behind the camera, her presence in Hollywood has been growing steadily. She's become a regular on the A-list circuit again, mingling with studio executives, producers, and top talent. People underestimate how respected Meghan is in the industry, a producer recently told Variety. She's seen as someone who understands both the creative and business sides of entertainment. She's not just a celebrity, she's a producer, a strategist, and a brand in herself. Her work with Netflix is expected to be pivotal. Following the success of Harry and Meghan and the acclaimed Heart of Invictus, sources suggest the Duchess is developing a slate of uplifting, female-led projects that reflect her values of resilience and community. Meghan's creative vision is about authenticity, says a source at Archwell Productions. She wants to tell stories that inspire and empower, particularly for women who feel unseen or unheard. Standing strong. Going it alone hasn't come without challenges. The Duchess has faced intense scrutiny from the British press, and even in California, her every move continues to make headlines. But those close to her say Meghan has learned to tune out the noise. She's become incredibly centered, reveals a friend. She's not interested in gossip or negativity, her focus is on growth and gratitude. It's this sense of purpose that seems to drive her. Meghan's close friends say she starts her mornings with meditation, followed by creative brainstorming sessions with her small but dedicated team. She's meticulous, says one collaborator. When Meghan sets her mind to something, she doesn't slow down until it's perfect. And she's not slowing down anytime soon. Her calendar for 2025 is reportedly packed with both public appearances and private development projects. There are whispers of partnerships with major fashion and wellness brands, alongside her continued philanthropic commitments through Archewell. Life without Harry? Naturally, Meghan's solo ventures have sparked rumors about her marriage, but those close to the couple insist there's no trouble in paradise. Harry completely supports Meghan's independence, says a mutual friend. They both have their own passions, and that's part of what keeps their relationship strong. Harry's schedule has also been full, with travel linked to veterans initiatives and upcoming Invictus-related events. While they may not always be side by side, sources say they remain aligned behind the scenes, constantly sharing ideas and cheering each other on. They have different focuses right now, explains the insider. But that doesn't mean they're growing apart. It means they're growing as individuals. A woman redefining herself. For Meghan, the journey from royal duchess to global entrepreneur has been both liberating and enlightening. She stopped trying to fit into other people's expectations, says a source familiar with her mindset. This chapter is about authenticity and evolution. She's learned who she really is, and she's not afraid to show it. And that new confidence is shining through. Whether it's her recent appearances at high-profile LA events, her growing influence in wellness circles, or her quietly expanding business network, Meghan Markle is a woman on a mission. Meghan's story isn't about reinvention, says a brand strategist who's worked with her team. It's about returning to the version of herself she had to mute for years. The creative, driven, outspoken woman she was before the world tried to define her. The future of the Duchess. So, what's next for Meghan Markle? Insiders say she's only just begun. Between her expanding brand empire, her production work, and her continued humanitarian focus, 2025 is shaping up to be her biggest year yet. She's unstoppable right now, says the insider. There's a sense that Meghan is entering her prime, creatively, personally, and professionally. She's walking her own path, and she's doing it with grace and determination. In an era where women are reclaiming their narratives, Meghan Markle stands as a symbol of what it means to take control, to go it alone without losing yourself, to build without compromise, and to move forward without apology. She's not just surviving outside the royal shadow, she's thriving. And if her latest moves are any indication, Meghan Markle isn't just writing her next chapter. She's authoring a whole new book, one that promises to be as bold, bright, and unstoppable as she is. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Meghan Markle goes solo without Prince Harry and is stopping at nothing to get what she wants. Meghan Markle's Netflix lifestyle series With Love, Meghan may not have landed quite as she'd hoped, but the Duchess of Sussex is far from slowing down. Instead, the setback seems to have fueled her ambition to broaden her personal empire, this time with a bold pivot into beauty. Her newest venture, widely believed to be her own cosmetics and skincare line, reportedly draws inspiration from pop star turned fashion and beauty mogul Victoria Beckham. And according to insiders, Meghan is mapping her brand with the same strategic precision she's shown since stepping back from royal duties in 2020. Meghan has always been very deliberate about brand building, PR expert Dermot McNamara tells OK! America sees her as a lifestyle tastemaker, and a beauty line feels like a natural extension. She's following a path similar to Victoria Beckham and the Kardashians, women who've turned their image into global businesses. Rumors of Meghan's megabrand only intensified last week when business powerhouse Emma Grede, the British entrepreneur behind Kim Kardashian's hugely successful Skims empire, shared photos from an exclusive all-female dinner in Los Angeles. The Duchess was among the guests, who sipped her own as ever Sauvignon Blanc as they networked with industry titans. Over the past several weeks, Meghan has been dropping subtle hints about her beauty ambitions, including videos of herself applying lipstick with the label carefully hidden. Dermot sees this as a calculated approach. By doing her own makeup online, she's crafting an image of being authentic, creative, and hands-on, traits that resonate strongly with beauty consumers in 2025, he explains. She's selling personality as much as product. The blurred product shots, the emphasis on her signature glow, It's all part of positioning herself as a self-made entrepreneur, not an accessory to royalty. Although her screen projects have leaned heavily on her royal narrative, particularly her partnership with Harry, 41, sources say Meghan is determined to operate independently when it comes to business. She'd love Harry to be involved, but that's just not how things have unfolded, one insider shares. This is her project, and she's prepared to push forward alone. She'll stop at nothing to make as ever a success. Paperwork suggests Meghan has been laying the groundwork for more than a year, with as ever filing trademarks for skincare, cosmetics, and fragrances. And according to insiders, she has her eye on the same beauty world trajectory charted by Victoria Beckham, as well as actress-turned-wellness mogul Gwyneth Paltrow. Meghan's watched Victoria build a powerhouse brand, and she wants a slice of that success, says PR specialist Lynn Karat. She's worn Victoria's designs before and admires her. And with Meghan's huge US following, people will absolutely buy her products, whether they love her or love to hate her. The Duchess has certainly been working to elevate her industry presence. She made her Paris Fashion Week debut earlier this month alongside Vogue's Anna Wintour, then traveled to New York to accept the Humanitarian of the Year award with Harry at the Project Healthy Minds Gala. She later appeared in Washington, D.C., at the Fortune Most Powerful Women Summit to speak on financial independence. She's getting in front of the right people, fashion insiders, beauty executives, influential networks, Lynn notes. Expect to see her at more fashion weeks from here on. Lynn also highlights Kylie Jenner as another likely influence, especially after Meghan's recent outing with Skims co-founder Greed. Kylie became a billionaire with her beauty business, she says. Naturally, Meghan is looking at that and thinking, why not me? While some of Meghan's past projects have been hit or miss, Lynn believes beauty might be the lane where everything finally clicks. She has all the ingredients to make this work, she says. If as ever expands into makeup and fashion, it could become something significant. According to insiders, Meghan is unfazed by mixed public opinion, especially outside the US. She knows where her support base is, the insider adds. She doesn't need royal approval in America. She's confident, driven, and determined to build this brand on her own terms. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Prince Harry issues major announcement amid awkward diary clash with estranged brother William. The world watches the British royal family more closely now than perhaps at any other moment in recent memory. Each headline, every glare caught by a camera lens, every photo of someone arriving solo at an event they once would have attended arm in arm with a sibling, seems to carry the weight of an entire fractured legacy. And this week, one of the most striking moments yet unfolded when Prince Harry dropped a major announcement just as Prince William embarked on one of the most significant royal tours of his career. Whether coincidence, strategy, or simply the universe's uniquely cruel sense of timing, the two brothers once again found themselves competing for global attention, despite neither publicly acknowledging the other at all. What follows is a richly detailed look behind the scenes, the emotions, the optics, the whispers inside palace walls, and the complex, painful dynamic between two princes who once shared the same destiny but now seem to orbit different worlds entirely. Part 1. The announcement that shook both sides of the Atlantic. The announcement came, as so many modern royal developments do, via a simple digital notification. No heralds, no balcony, no ceremonial flourish, just a carefully timed post on the official website of the Archewell Foundation and a press release sent to major outlets. At precisely 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, matching high-traffic online hours in both the United States and Europe, the words appeared. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, will embark on a new, groundbreaking initiative that expands his global work with veterans and mental health support. The program, titled The Path Forward, includes a multi-country tour beginning in Canada this winter. Within seconds, news alerts pinged onto phones around the world. Within minutes, commentators began reacting. Within hours, the story dominated the royal sections of every major outlet. But the part that truly sent observers spiraling was the timing. Because at that exact same hour, almost to the minute, Prince William was stepping out onto the observation deck of Rio de Janeiro's Sugarloaf Mountain, surrounded by cameras, dignitaries, cheering locals, and a full media pack ready to cover his high-profile environmental initiative. Two brothers. Two major projects. Two continents. One moment. The clash was impossible to ignore. Even the most diplomatic royal reporters, the ones who insist on treating coincidences as simply coincidences, had to admit that the optics were awkward. The estrangement between Harry and William, once whispered about, had now become an international spectacle. And for palace insiders, it was a moment that felt almost symbolic, the physical distance between the princes reflecting the emotional gulf that had grown so wide it now seemed almost unbridgeable. Part 2. Harry's decision, and the storm behind it. Sources, creative, fictionalized ones for our purposes, suggest that Harry's team had been preparing the announcement for weeks. The initiative, the path forward, was not something thrown together quickly. It involved a new documentary partnership, a series of veteran support events, a mental health symposium, a cross-country Canadian trek with wounded warriors, and a major speech Harry planned to deliver in Vancouver, one advisors described as his most personal yet. What was less clear was the date. Did Harry know William would be in Brazil? Had he been informed of the Earthshot schedule? Did he care? Within royal circles, both in London and in Montecito, theories swirled. Some argued Harry simply no longer tracks the royal calendar. Others suggested he purposely avoids it. And a few insisted he knew exactly what he was doing. But those closest to the Sussex operation spoke of something different, a more personal motivation. Harry, they said, had felt his work was losing momentum. After years of global attention, tabloid scrutiny, and endless debates about his decisions, he wanted to recenter his public identity around something that mattered to him deeply and authentically. Veterans advocacy is where he becomes Harry, not the Duke of Sussex, one insider explained. It's the one space where he doesn't feel defined by his family history. When the concept for the path forward was finalized, his team believed it deserved a prominent rollout. They wanted impact. They wanted reach. They wanted a moment. But then came the scheduling complication. The announcement date had been set internally for early November, well before any final confirmation of William's tour locations leaked. And by the time the overlap became apparent, the wheels were already in motion. Contracts signed. Partners notified. Press prepared. And Harry, determined as ever, decided not to shift the timeline. It was not meant to be a provocation, his team insisted. It was not meant to overshadow anyone. But the result was the same. On opposite sides of the Western Hemisphere, the two sons of King Charles found their separate missions intertwined in the headlines, again. Part 3. William reacts, or doesn't. In Rio, the heat shimmered over the city, the sky a perfect, endless blue. Prince William, dressed in a crisp shirt and open jacket, looked out over the panoramic view of the coastline as he was introduced by Brazilian officials. Cameras rolled. The crowd buzzed with anticipation. But behind the scenes, advisors glanced at their phones, then at one another, exchanging subtle looks that spoke volumes. The news about Harry had reached them. The timing was undeniably unfortunate. William's Earthshot initiatives had been meticulously planned, polished, and promoted. The Rio launch was set to be a defining moment, a way to rejuvenate global interest in one of his most important causes. And now, the headlines split down the middle. William wows in Rio with Earthshot kickoff. Harry announces major global project in Canada. William, ever the professional, proceeded as planned. Not a flicker of emotion crossed his face. No pause. No acknowledgement. But those who know him well, again, in this creative telling, say that he felt it. Felt the sting not necessarily of competition, but of distance. Where the brothers once collaborated, once coordinated, once strategized behind closed palace doors, they now seemed locked in separate narratives that collided only by accident. Or fate. Or maybe something more complicated than either. Part 4. The Estrangement That Won't Heal. To understand why this clash felt so intense to the public, and so uncomfortable for royal watchers, you have to go back to the roots of the divide. Once upon a time, William and Harry were inseparable. Their closeness was the emotional center of the monarchy after the death of their mother. They shared jokes, inside stories, frustrations, dreams. But as adulthood unfolded, so too did the pressures that come with being Windsor men. Their roles diverged. Their personalities clashed. The weight of expectations, both internal and external, began to reshape the bond they once took for granted. Harry's departure from royal life marked the most visible fracture. Interviews, books, documentaries, all added layers of misunderstanding and hurt. William, guarded and duty-driven, retreated further into silence. Harry, candid and emotional, spoke more than William believed appropriate. Two different coping styles. Two different worldviews. Two brothers who no longer spoke the same language. The Montecito move widened the chasm. The Oprah interview deepened it. Spare carved it in stone. Now every overlapping event, their birthdays, major announcements, royal tours, even charitable initiatives, drives another round of speculation about whether they will ever reconcile. But reconciliation requires communication. And communication requires trust. At the moment, they share neither. Which brings us back to this week's timing, because more than a scheduling coincidence, it symbolized their ongoing divergence. The world has watched many royal stories unfold across eras, but rarely has it witnessed two future kings, one literal, one symbolic, separated not by fate or tragedy, but by choice. Part 5. Inside Montecito. The night before the release. According to creative sources, the night before the announcement, Harry paced the patio outside his California home, looking out across the quiet, starlit garden. He had rehearsed parts of his speech over and over again. His project meant something to him, something real, tangible. He wanted people to understand that his passion for veterans wasn't a celebrity project, but a continuation of the life he led long before his marriage, his move, his media battles. But underneath the work, there was something else, an ache he didn't speak aloud. Would William see the announcement? Of course. Would he care? Harry didn't know. Would it be perceived as competitive? Very likely. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. What am I supposed to do? He muttered under his breath. Wait for his calendar? Avoid every date that might overlap. Meghan appeared in the doorway, her expression soft. She had watched him carry this burden for years now, the desire to move forward while still feeling tethered to the past. You're doing something good, she said simply. And good doesn't need permission. Harry nodded, though uncertainty still flickered across his gaze. By morning, the press release was live. The reaction immediate. The comparisons unavoidable. Harry had stepped forward. But the shadow of the Windsor family remained. Part 6. Rio, William's Earthshot moment. While Harry's announcement dominated American media, William's tour generated intense interest across Latin America and Europe. The Earthshot movement was gaining momentum again, especially in Brazil, a country that embodied both environmental challenges and global influence. William visited conservation projects, met with young innovators, and spoke passionately about climate action. He laughed with school children planting trees, stood ankle-deep in river restoration sites, and listened attentively to researchers describing deforestation patterns. His speeches resonated. His engagements dazzled. This was the William his supporters urged him to be more often: dynamic, engaged, accessible, forward-looking. But even amid the success of the tour, journalists could not help but ask the question everyone was thinking. Was the timing of Harry's announcement intentional? William, staying true to form, declined to comment. His team offered no statement. The palace remained silent. But silence can be loud in its own way. And this silence felt deafening. Part 7. The public responds. A divided digital kingdom. Social media exploded. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Royal watchers took sides as if cheering for rival football clubs. Team William argued that Harry's announcement was designed to distract from Earthshot. Team Harry claimed he had every right to pursue his own work independent of his brother's schedule. Neutral observers shook their heads at the spectacle, lamenting what felt like a lost brotherhood. Algorithms pushed the discourse to fever pitch. Influencers weighed in. Podcasts dissected both men's motives. The most biting commentary came from a former royal aide who said, "This has become the story of two men trapped in the same family but living in different worlds. And every time their paths cross, even unintentionally, the tension erupts." And perhaps that was true. Because no matter the topic, charity, travel, advocacy, media, any overlap between William and Harry inevitably resurrected old wounds. Part 8. Behind Palace Doors. The King's Private Frustration. In London, King Charles read the day's briefings with a mixture of resignation and sadness. He had long hoped his sons might heal. That time, maturity, and distance would soften old resentments. But instead, time only seemed to deepen them. He did not begrudge Harry the announcement, nor did he fault William for focusing on Earthshot. But he worried about the narrative, the polarization, the fact that no matter what either son did, the world insisted on stacking them against each other like rivals in a drama neither fully controlled. One day, he murmured to a trusted aide, in this creative imagining, "The crown will belong to William, but the family belongs to all of us. And I wonder what will be left of it by then." The aide said nothing. What was there to say? The monarchy has weathered storms, scandals, divorces, tragedies, but the feud between William and Harry remained uniquely painful because of the profound love that once existed between them. A love the public saw. A love the world mourns. A love the brothers themselves still feel, buried under layers of hurt and pride. Part 9. Harry's speech, a moment of vulnerability. A week after the initial announcement, Harry stood before a crowd of veterans, families, and supporters at an event in Vancouver that kicked off his new initiative. Dressed in jeans and a charcoal blazer, he looked relaxed yet focused, the crisp winter air visible in small clouds each time he exhaled. His speech, broadcast globally, struck a deeply personal tone. "Service," he began, "is not something you leave behind. It becomes part of you, the way you make decisions, the way you show up for others, the way you navigate hardship. It shapes you." He paused, took a breath, then added something unexpected. "And service also teaches you that relationships matter, that sometimes they're worth fighting for." The room went still. Some interpreted it as a reference to the veterans around him. Others heard something more, something directed across the ocean. Harry didn't elaborate. He continued the speech, speaking of resilience, healing, community. But for many watching, including royal observers, body language analysts, and the millions who cling to hope that the brothers might one day reconcile, that single sentence lingered like a flicker of light in an otherwise shadowed story. Part 10. William's Reflection, a private moment in Belém. After the Earthshot ceremony, William traveled to Belém, the gateway to the Amazon. It was humid, beautiful, overwhelming, a place that feels alive in every sense. Late that evening, as his schedule wound down, he walked alone on a balcony overlooking the water, the city lights shimmering against the dark. He had been briefed on Harry's speech. He had read the line. He felt something twist inside him. Regret, sadness, longing, perhaps all three. For William, duty often requires suppression, of emotion, of impulse, of vulnerability. But in rare quiet moments, he allows himself to wonder what might have been different if life had not pushed him into the role of future king while pushing Harry into the role of the spare. They had shared everything once. Everything. And now they shared nothing at all. He exhaled deeply and whispered to no one, Maybe one day. Part 11. Where they go from here. The diary clash between Harry and William will not be the last. Their lives, though separate, remain intertwined by lineage, history, and public fascination. But the events of this week, this awkward, high-profile collision, revealed something deeper than a scheduling mishap. It revealed two men trying to build meaningful lives, two paths shaped by duty, trauma, and love, two futures converging and diverging in unpredictable ways, and two brothers who cannot escape the story they were born into, even as they attempt to rewrite their own chapters. The world sees the headlines, the spectacle, the rivalry. But beneath the surface are just two human beings, once inseparable, now estranged, moving through the world with the weight of expectations neither asked for. Their journeys continue. Their tensions linger. And yet, tiny glimmers of vulnerability remain. A sentence in a speech. A private whisper on a balcony. A faint hope that time may eventually soften what anger hardened. As Harry's initiative moves forward and William's tour continues, one thing is certain. The story of the two princes is far from over. In fact, it may be entering one of its most compelling chapters yet. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Meghan Markle's surprising move, why she'll avoid Princess Beatrice and Eugenie despite Harry's bond with them. In the shifting sands of royal dynamics, few relationships are as complicated, yet quietly fascinating, as the one between Meghan Markle and her husband's cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Once hailed as the most modern, relatable, and independently spirited young women on the royal scene, the York sisters forged a bond with Prince Harry long before Meghan appeared in his life. But as the royal world fractures, rebuilds, and fractures again, the sisters now find themselves in a precarious place, not because of Harry, but because of their parents' ongoing public controversies. And that, insiders insist, is exactly why Meghan is likely to keep a careful, deliberate distance. While Harry maintains a loyal affection for the sisters who were once his closest royal allies, the Duchess of Sussex, ever conscious of reputation, optics, and controlling her own narrative, may be preparing to draw a thicker line than ever before. This is the story of how four young royals once aligned by friendship, rebellion, and shared pressures have drifted into an increasingly complicated constellation, and why Meghan may not want to be pulled back into their orbit. A long history. Harry, Beatrice, and Eugenie against the royal tide. To understand the potential distancing today, one must travel back more than a decade. Before Meghan, before Megxit, before streaming deals and memoirs, when Harry, Beatrice, and Eugenie were the carefree trio of the younger royal generation. Beatrice and Eugenie were never working royals, yet they inhabited a strange liminal space, royal enough to be scrutinized, yet not official enough to be protected. Harry, similarly, occupied the role of the spare, a title he later weaponized in print but which he lived with long before he understood its marketability. The three spent holidays together, attended countless family events, shared friends, and famously nightlife, and bonded over growing up in a gilded cage that did not always feel like gold. For Harry, the York sisters represented something rare, unconditional family enthusiasm. They adored him even during his more chaotic years, and Harry, who often felt overshadowed, was treated like a star in their world. And when Meghan entered his life, Eugenie in particular embraced her. Not just politely, genuinely. Eugenie was the first family member Harry confided in about Meghan. It was Eugenie and her now husband Jack Brooksbank who joined the couple on secret double dates early in their romance. Meghan even described the sisters warmly in earlier interviews, before everything became fraught. And yet, warmth in the past doesn't guarantee closeness in the present. Meghan's calculation. Optics over nostalgia. Those who understand Meghan's approach to public and private life say she moves by two guiding principles: maintaining control of her image, avoiding collateral scandals. And unfortunately for the York sisters, the ongoing shadow cast by their father, Prince Andrew, presents the exact type of scandal Meghan would avoid at all costs. Even if Beatrice and Eugenie are not responsible for Andrew's associations, the fallout is inescapable, and Meghan, repeatedly burned by royal-adjacent controversies not of her own making, is done playing with fire. Why the York sisters are uniquely risky for Meghan. Unlike William and Catherine, whose scandals revolve around secrecy and palace tensions, Beatrice and Eugenie carry associations that are external, uncontrolled, and unpredictable, precisely the kind of instability Meghan has spent the last 6 years trying to escape. Their father's name appears in headlines Meghan would never allow herself to be adjacent to. Any public reconnection between the Sussexes and the York sisters risks media speculation. Harry and Meghan sympathize with or support Andrew. Meghan has carefully rebranded herself as a wellness, philanthropy, lifestyle, and empowerment figure. A renewed closeness with Andrew's daughters could trigger a PR nightmare she cannot risk. In other words, it's not personal. It's strategic. One royal commentator described it as one of the saddest yet most inevitable separations in the younger generation of royals. The Andrew factor, the royal shadow that won't lift. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have spent their entire adult lives defending, supporting, or simply standing silently beside a father whose scandals have never stopped erupting. They have never abandoned him, nor do they intend to. But that loyalty is exactly what complicates their relationships with others, especially those, like Meghan, who already feel scrutinized and misrepresented by the British press. For Meghan, the association is simply too volatile. Andrew will never return to royal life. His public standing is permanently damaged. And although his daughters have carved out hard-working lives outside the institution, they cannot, and will not, distance themselves from him. In contrast, Meghan has built her entire public identity around separating herself from things she considers toxic, oppressive, or reputation-damaging. It is almost impossible to imagine her willingly stepping into Andrew's orbit again. Harry's dilemma: heart versus strategy. Harry is caught in a uniquely painful divide. On one hand, Beatrice and Eugenie are among the few royal family members with whom he still feels genuine affection. He has repeatedly referred to them as close cousins, fun companions, and authentic supporters. On the other hand, Harry's life now exists in a different ecosystem, one governed by Hollywood rules, PR narratives, reputational safeguards, and meticulously engineered branding. For someone in his position, attaching himself to the York sisters could be interpreted, not necessarily fairly, as a soft endorsement of Andrew. And that is a line Harry will not cross. Thus, Harry's closeness with his cousins has likely slipped into a more private form. Texts, phone calls, the occasional quiet catch-up far away from cameras. But public closeness, visible support, photographs, joint appearances? No chance. Not if Meghan has any say, and she absolutely does. Why Meghan's distance isn't hostility. Many professional observers insist Meghan has no personal animosity toward Beatrice and Eugenie. In fact, the early days of her romance with Harry included some of her warmest interactions with any royals besides Charles. But personal affection does not override strategic caution. Those who have worked with Meghan describe her as exceptionally media-aware, hyper-conscious of narrative risk, deeply protective of her brand, unwilling to attach herself to unpredictable dynamics. It's not that Meghan dislikes the York sisters. It's that she simply cannot afford proximity to the headlines surrounding them. Not now. Not while relaunching her brand. Not while producing new projects. Not while negotiating major contracts. Not while re-entering public life in the U.S. Meghan's world is tightly choreographed. The York sisters' world is uncontrollably tied to their father. Those two planets cannot currently align. Private tension versus public distance. Behind closed doors, the dynamics are softer than the tabloids suggest. Meghan reportedly still sends messages for birthdays and milestones. Harry has been in touch since the birth of the York sisters' children. There is no feud, only distance. But the distance matters. especially because Beatrice and Eugenie, by remaining in close proximity to the royal family, even during turbulence, represent the life Harry left behind. They attend royal events. They support the institution. They maintain relationships Harry cut off. And that creates emotional complexity that Meghan, after years of bruising royal battles, has little interest in revisiting. Eugenie, the bridge that could have been. Of the two sisters, Eugenie was once the closest to Harry and Meghan. She visited them after they moved to the U.S. She stayed with them in Montecito. She was photographed with Harry at the Super Bowl. For a while, she seemed like the only royal still willing and allowed to navigate both worlds. But even that came with complications. Eugenie cannot exist outside royal gravity. She is close to her mother, Sarah Ferguson, a woman who has made a full-time hobby of defending Andrew. Her husband works in London's elite social circles. Her children are being raised within the royal family bubble. Eugenie may adore Harry and Meghan, but she cannot live in exile with them. And Meghan, equally, cannot re-enter the old royal ecosystem. Thus the natural drift. Not anger, not betrayal. Just two lines moving in different directions. Beatrice, the wild card Meghan won't gamble on. Princess Beatrice has always been the quieter of the York sisters, but in terms of public optics, she is the more complicated one for Meghan. While Eugenie has maintained a softer media presence, Beatrice's name is often linked to Andrew's ongoing financial and legal controversies. Fair or unfair, she is regularly painted in the press as her father's emotional anchor. Any public show of solidarity between Meghan and Beatrice would generate immediate sensational headlines. Meghan reconnects with Andrew's daughter. Sussexes cozying up to disgraced prince's family? Hollywood PR nightmare. Meghan's new royal allies exposed. Meghan's team would never allow such easily avoidable problems. So Beatrice, polite, gracious, well-meaning Beatrice, remains firmly on the outer edge of Meghan's circle. Not rejected. Not disliked. Simply avoided. A future reconciliation? Only if the scandals stop. Could Meghan reconnect with Beatrice and Eugenie someday? Possibly. But only under certain conditions. Andrew's name must fade significantly from the headlines. Harry and Meghan must stabilize their public brand. The York sisters' public roles must shift away from scandal-linked coverage. The Sussexes must no longer fear being dragged into old royal controversies. Until then, distance is the safest, simplest solution. The emotional undercurrent. Four hearts pulled in opposite directions. What makes the Meghan-Beatrice-Eugenie situation uniquely sad is that all four individuals involved, Harry, Meghan, Beatrice, Eugenie, are, in many ways, victims of circumstance. Harry lost the family members he felt closest to. Meghan lost the only royals who embraced her early on. Beatrice and Eugenie lost a friendship they cherished. And all of them lost the youthful version of themselves from a time before scandals, rifts, and global scrutiny. The tragedy is not dramatic. It is quiet, subtle. The type of emotional erosion that happens when lives split into two incompatible paths. Conclusion: distance as self-protection, not rejection. When insiders say Meghan will want to keep her distance, the phrase is less a warning and more a statement of necessity. Meghan is building a future centered on brand clarity, public control, and stability. Beatrice and Eugenie are tied to a father who remains one of the most controversial figures in royal history. Harry, caught in the middle, must balance affection with realism. The result: a polite, quiet, strategically maintained distance. Not a feud. Not hostility. Not bitterness. Just distance. The kind of distance that protects reputations, stabilizes narratives, and avoids unnecessary trouble. And in the modern royal world, where one wrong photograph can ignite a global frenzy, distance is often the final act of loyalty to oneself. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Love is Blind's Jordan Keltner shocks fans with jaw-dropping pic of son Luca's mom. When Love is Blind star Jordan Keltner posts something on Instagram, fans pay attention. But nothing, and truly nothing, could have prepared the internet for the jaw-dropping moment he shared a new photo of his son Luca's mother. Within minutes, comment sections exploded, timelines lit up, and fans declared they couldn't breathe after seeing the woman behind the mystery. For months, viewers had been speculating. Ever since Jordan appeared on Season 7 of Netflix's hit dating experiment, fans grew fascinated by his life beyond the pods, especially his adorable son, Luca, who occasionally made wholesome cameo appearances in Jordan's stories. While Jordan spoke openly about fatherhood on the show, he never revealed much about his ex or Luca's mom. That all changed with one soft-lit, effortlessly glamorous photo drop. And the world absolutely lost it. A reveal that shook the reality TV universe. Jordan's post wasn't even dramatic. It didn't need to be. The internet provided enough drama for everyone. The picture showed Luca's mom, Sienna, standing next to their curly-haired toddler at what looked like a cozy Sunday picnic. The sun caught her long caramel waves just right, highlighting striking hazel eyes and an energy that radiated both calm and confidence. Her style was casual, white tee, denim, minimal makeup, but that only made her natural beauty more unreal. Within seconds, fans rushed in. "Wait, that's Luca's mom," one follower wrote. "My jaw hit the floor. She's stunning. No wonder Luca's adorable, look at his parents." Jordan, be serious. You kept a literal goddess hidden from us? The surprise wasn't just about looks. It was the fact that Jordan, who had spent a season of Love is Blind navigating vulnerability, emotional walls, and the complexities of single parenthood, had managed to keep this entire chapter of his life both private and peaceful in a world where privacy is nearly impossible. For fans, the reveal felt like finally reading the last page of a book they'd been obsessed with. Who is Sienna? The internet wants answers. Despite the frenzy, Sienna herself hasn't stepped into the limelight. Her own Instagram page remains private, and Jordan didn't tag her, something fans immediately noticed. But that didn't stop the theories from flying. Some viewers assumed she must be a model. Others insisted she looked like a Hallmark leading lady. A few joked that if Sienna had walked into the pods, the season would have ended before it began. But beneath the noise, what resonated most was Jordan's caption, sweet, understated, and surprisingly sentimental for a man who once said vulnerability didn't come naturally. Co-parenting at its best. Grateful for the incredible mom Luca has. Grateful for the family we've built in our own way. If the goal was to melt hearts, mission accomplished. The backstory, Jordan, Luca, and the quiet strength behind them. Jordan's journey on Love is Blind wasn't a smooth one. From the start, he was open about being a single father, something he feared might scare off potential partners. He worried whether women in the pods would accept the responsibility, the schedule, the emotional baggage. But what he kept private was the way he and his ex had worked through a breakup and rebuilt a healthy, stable foundation for their son. While filming, he briefly mentioned that he and Luca's mother had met in college and dated for several years before ultimately parting ways. There was no cheating saga, no explosive argument, just two people who realized they wanted different things but still shared one extraordinary bond, their child. Even in the pods, Jordan emphasized that the most important woman in his life would always be his son's mom, not romantically, but out of respect, loyalty, and gratitude. And now, with this reveal, fans feel like they're finally seeing the full picture. Not a romantic reunion. Not a messy breakup. Just two adults choosing dignity and love in the best way possible. Fans react, "This is the most attractive thing about him." While everyone was understandably captivated by Sienna's beauty, the reaction wasn't superficial at all. Many fans praised Jordan for the maturity the post represented. This is co-parenting done right. Respect. Men who speak highly of their exes. This is the real green flag. Not the gym selfies. When you uplift the mother of your child, you win. Every time. In a reality TV landscape full of drama, shade, and catastrophic breakups, Jordan's approach felt refreshing. No bitterness. No defensiveness. No over-explaining. Just gratitude. And apparently, gratitude is extremely attractive. A few even joked that Jordan just became the internet's dad crush of the month. Is Sienna joining the spotlight, or staying far away from it? The question on everyone's mind. Will we see more of Sienna? Most likely, no. Sources close to production have shared that she has zero interest in becoming a public figure. Her priority is Luca, and Jordan respects that wholeheartedly. They've intentionally kept their dynamic off camera to maintain stability for their son. But fans haven't given up hope. Some have already begun campaigning for Netflix to feature Sienna in a future after the Alter episode, purely to give the respect she deserves, as one fan wrote. Others simply want parenting content, cute photos, holiday traditions, blended family milestones. But ultimately, the consensus seems clear. The internet is rooting for this trio, in whatever form they take. The bigger impact, a rare moment of real in reality TV. What makes this moment stand out isn't just the beauty reveal. It's what it represents. Too often, co-parenting is portrayed as tense, dramatic, or defined by conflict. Jordan's post flipped that script completely. It showed a version of parenthood grounded in cooperation, affection, and mutual respect, even when the romance has long faded. Fans didn't just fall in love with Sienna's looks. They fell in love with the energy she and Jordan projected, a reminder that relationships don't have to end in war, and families don't have to follow a traditional mold to be whole. In the words of one viral comment, "If this is what healing, growing, and adulting looks like, sign me up." What's next for Jordan? While Jordan hasn't hinted at new romantic developments since the show, many fans feel this reveal marks a new chapter for him. He seems more grounded, more open, more trusting, qualities that he struggled with throughout Love is Blind. And perhaps showing the world the woman who shaped part of his journey was an important step toward embracing the future, whatever it looks like. One thing is certain, if Jordan hoped to avoid attention, he failed spectacularly. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment and share. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Love Island's Shelly Bissainthe stands UP for Olandria. Inside the Huda drama. That's how Love Island breakout star Shelly Bissainthe sums up her fiery loyalty to best friend Olandria Cruz, whose name has been splashed across social feeds all week thanks to a growing feud with fellow Islander Huda Malik. In an exclusive sit-down, Shelly opens up about the drama that has consumed fans, the behind-the-scenes tension that never made it to air, and why she refuses to stay silent when Olandria is being dragged for things she didn't do. What emerges is a story of friendship, loyalty, and the high-pressure world of reality TV fame, where one wrong move can turn the internet into a courtroom. People don't know half of what happened. Shelly, glamorous as ever with her signature glossy curls and no-nonsense vibe, doesn't waste time sugarcoating. Everyone online thinks they know the full story because they saw a 20-second clip, she says, shaking her head. But that Huda versus Olandria argument? That had been brewing for days. The episode didn't even show the worst of it. According to Shelly, viewers missed entire conversations where tensions rose between the two women. Huda is strong, outspoken, and honestly, she can be confrontational, Shelly admits. Olandria is soft until she's pushed. People are acting like she snapped out of nowhere, but girl, she had patience levels I could never reach. A key moment, now viral, shows Huda accusing Olandria of playing two sides between couples. That clip led to hours of Twitter think pieces and Instagram reels dissecting the body language of everyone on the couches. But what people didn't see, Shelly explains, was Huda cornering Olandria earlier that day, telling her she wasn't real enough for the show. They didn't air that. They didn't air Olandria crying in the dressing room either. When asked why producers would leave out such moments, Shelly purses her lips and raises a brow. Drama sells, she says simply. But the truth doesn't always make the cut. Shelly's breaking point. Shelly admits she originally tried to stay neutral. I was literally trying to stay on my beanbag, drink my iced coffee, and mind my business, she laughs. But when you see your friend being dragged, that flips a switch. Viewers noticed that Shelley stepped in several times during the explosive villa tension. She quickly became the calm but deadly presence, stern voice, controlled tone, but eyes that said, "Try me." "People were DMing me saying I was too ride or die," she says. Like, sorry? That's how friendship works. We got into that villa alone, but once we connected, we were like sisters. But Shelley also reveals she confronted Olandria privately. "I told her, listen, I'll defend you, but you need to stand up for yourself too. Don't let edits shape your narrative." She's not confrontational. She hates conflict. "That's why I stepped in." The turning point was a heated discussion at the fire pit, one fans now refer to as the couch clash. I saw Huda getting worked up, voice rising, hands moving. I know her energy. And Olandria looked frozen. So yeah, I walked over. I wasn't about to let my girl get steamrolled for the cameras. People love a villain, and they tried to make her one. Online, Huda has a massive fan base, and Shelley knows it. Huda's following is loud. They defend her like she's Beyoncé, Shelley says with a small laugh. So when the episode aired, people wanted someone to blame. Olandria became the easy target. Across TikTok, the hashtag #TeamHuda pulled more than 20 million views within hours. Meanwhile, #ProtectOlandria slowly trended as more clips surfaced showing Huda's harsh words. "I'm not saying Huda's a bad person," Shelley clarifies. "She's not the devil. But she's intense. And when you put intense next to sensitive, the sensitive one is always going to look wrong." Shelley believes the edit favored Huda. "You can't convince me they didn't soften her scenes," she says. They cut parts where she admitted she was testing Olandria. Testing. Like it was a social experiment. Where Huda and Olandria stand now. Fans have been desperate to know whether the two rivals made peace after filming Wrapped. Shelley chooses her words carefully. "I think they're cordial," she says. "They're not meeting up for brunch. They follow each other again, so that's something. But there's tension. Some wounds take longer to heal." Then she adds, "And that's okay. Not everyone from a TV show has to be best friends." Was Shelley asked to tone it down? Rumors swirled that producers told Shelley to dial back the intensity. She confirms they pulled her aside once, but not for the reason people think. "It wasn't about me defending Olandria," she reveals. "They were worried I'd ruin storylines because I kept stepping in too early. Producers were like, 'Shelley, let the moment breathe before you jump in.' And I was like, 'So, you want me to watch my friend suffer?'" She rolls her eyes dramatically. Reality TV, baby. The girls' friendship after the show. Off camera, Shelley and Olandria have remained close. "People think we're doing it for PR. No. We literally FaceTime every morning. She's my human diary at this point." They've even joked about starting a joint podcast. "Imagine us discussing reality TV chaos," Shelley says with a smirk. "We'd get cancelled weekly." When asked what she admires most about Olandria, Shelley softens. She has this calmness, like she carries her own peace. Even when people are yelling or misunderstanding her, she stays gentle. "I love that about her." Shelley's message to the haters. Before ending the interview, Shelley offers a word for the viewers who have been attacking Olandria online. "Stop assuming the edit is the truth. And stop bullying a girl you've never met," she says firmly. "If you saw the full picture, you'd understand why I defended her. And I'll do it again." She smirks, crossing her arms. "If that makes me the villain, fine. Put horns on me. I'll still take care of my friends." What's next for Shelley? Outside the drama, Shelley's life is busier than ever. Brand deals, hosting offers, and even early conversations about a potential appearance on another reality show. "I didn't plan any of this," she says. "But if the universe is giving me a microphone, I'll use it." As we wrap up, Shelley leaves us with a final thought. People forget we're real humans. We're not characters. So if I'm loud defending the people I love, it's because friendship doesn't end when the cameras do. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment and share. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Heartbreak in Paradise. Love Island couple split after shocking villa drama. Friends confirm it's over. For weeks, fans watched their romance unfold under the blazing sun, complete with cheeky banter, late-night whispers, and the kind of complicated chemistry Love Island practically trademarked. But now, just days after their dramatic departure from the villa, insiders say the fan-favorite couple has called it quits, and their friends insist the breakup is final. What went wrong between the pair, once considered one of the most promising couplings of the season? According to those closest to them, the answer isn't one single moment, but a collision of pressure, reality, and long-simmering issues that reportedly came to a head the moment the cameras stopped rolling. A romance that started with sparks and drama. Their journey began with fireworks. From the minute they locked eyes on the sun-drenched terrace, viewers sensed the magnetic pull between them. He was the confident charmer with a soft spot he tried desperately to hide. She was a fiery beauty who'd been unlucky in love and hesitant to trust again. Their flirtation quickly turned into one of the most talked-about connections of the season. Fans clipped their cutest moments. The villa girls teased her about her blush every time he walks in, and the narrator delivered punchline after punchline about their unstoppable chemistry. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Their romance also featured 2 blow-ups, a late-night confrontation over loyalty, and one very memorable recoupling speech that nearly split them for good. Still, against the odds, and to the delight of viewers, they found their way back to each other. The pair left the villa hand in hand, believed by many to be one of the strongest couples heading into the outside world. The dramatic exit that changed everything. The trouble reportedly began the night of their dramatic exit, which, according to production insiders, left both islanders shaken. Their departure followed a tense twist, one that forced a rapid goodbye rather than the usual slow fade-out that strengthens couples before they face the outside world. They went from the villa bubble straight into chaos, a friend claims. There was no time to process anything. One minute they're surrounded by people supporting the relationship, the next they're dealing with real-life expectations. Sources say the abrupt shift from sunshine and romantic challenges to noisy airports, paparazzi flashes, and management meetings threw them completely off balance. One insider put it bluntly, they didn't have the foundation they thought they did. When things got stressful, they went back to old habits. Jealousy, miscommunication, and post-villa pressure. After their exit, cracks reportedly began to appear almost immediately. Friends noticed the two weren't as solid as they appeared on screen. Behind closed doors, arguments resurfaced, especially around jealousy and communication, 2 issues that had caused friction inside the villa. He always felt like she didn't fully trust him, a mate of the male islander says. Even small things, like who he had to talk to for PR events, became arguments. Meanwhile, her friends say she became frustrated by his cold switch once cameras were gone. In the villa, he was affectionate, reassuring, really present, a friend shares. Outside, he got distant and protective of his time. She felt like she was the only one trying. The pressure of fan expectations didn't help. With thousands of followers begging for TikToks, interviews, couple photos, and brand deals, the pair reportedly struggled to align on how much of their relationship they wanted to share. She likes the attention, he prefers privacy, one insider reveals. The difference became impossible to ignore. The night it reportedly fell apart. According to multiple sources, the final blow-up happened during what was supposed to be a celebratory dinner less than a week after their villa exit. Witnesses say they arrived together but barely spoke throughout the evening. By dessert, voices had been raised. And by the time the car came to pick them up, she had left in tears, alone. It was bad, an eyewitness says. They were arguing about everything, trust, commitment, future plans. It looked like years of problems, not weeks. Friends close to the couple say that later that night, one of them told the other, maybe the villa made us believe something that wasn't real. The next morning, they quietly unfollowed each other on Instagram. Friends confirm, it's over. While the couple themselves have yet to make an official statement, Friends are no longer speaking in hypotheticals. It's completely done, says a source close to the female islander. She tried, but she's not going to beg for something that keeps hurting her. Another friend adds, they're both emotional right now, but I don't see a reunion happening. Not this time. His side echoes a similar sentiment. He cares about her, but they're too different, a friend says. They're both strong personalities. The spark was amazing, but the arguments were always next level. Fans spot the clues. Eagle-eyed viewers have already pieced together the breakup through subtle signs. No recent photos together. Cryptic Insta stories. Her night out with the girls. His sudden gym-heavy posts. They dodged questions during lives. One moment in particular caught fans' attention. A video of her leaving a London restaurant looking teary-eyed while a friend comforted her. Comment sections immediately erupted with speculation. Another Love Island couple bites the dust, one fan wrote. Villa romances never survive the outside, said another. Future plans. Separate paths? Insiders say the pair have been advised to lie low for at least a week while producers prepare statements and PR teams scramble to control the narrative. She is reportedly focusing on brand deals and an upcoming podcast appearance, while he plans to return home for a few weeks to reset. Despite the heartbreak, both are said to be optimistic about what comes next. They'll each be fine, an industry source predicts. Breakups are always tough, but post-island life moves fast. New opportunities come at you non-stop. Still, fans who had hoped the two would be this year's golden couple have been left stunned. Could they reconcile? Never say never. Love Island has a way of bringing ex-islanders together again at events, press tours, and unexpected crossovers. But insiders insist this breakup feels different. They've both accepted it, a friend reveals. It wasn't a dramatic block and burn situation. It was sad, but it was final. For now, it really is over. After weeks of sizzling chemistry, villa drama, and fan devotion, the sun has officially set on their Love Island romance. While the world fell in love with their journey on screen, life outside the villa proved to be a challenge neither expected. As one friend summed it up, they were perfect for Love Island. They just weren't perfect for real life. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment and share.